So this one, yeah, we're gonna do a random review for Detective Pikachu, kind of coming out of nowhere, right? I don't really care. I see a lot of movies and I want to review all of them, and now that I'm on summer break, it's like, yeah, I can review all of them. This is my job. YouTube's my job, so it's not like I got anything else to do. So time to review the movies that I failed to review previously, and this is one of them. This will be the first one because it's the most recent. Just saw it last night as of recording, saw it opening night. I'm recording this on May 10th. We'll see how long it takes me to upload this. But I watched Detective Pikachu, and here's what I'll say. By the way, this is like the first time I've made a video in forever when I actually don't have a script written. I'm just kind of going off the cuff. I pulled up the cast list and I'm just gonna wing it. It's a spoiler-free review. Not that there's a whole lot to spoil. It's kind of a, it's a twisty movie, as Pikachu says, so there's some spoilers in here, but that's not what the point of this is, where it's not a spoiler review. Okay, here's what I'll say. It's not a masterpiece of cinema, all right? This is a kid's movie made for kids. It's PG. It's not even PG-13. It is a kid's movie, and it succeeds at being a kid's movie because it's a very entertaining movie. It's fun. It's got a lot of jokes that you'll probably laugh at, hopefully. I mean, that's kind of the point. I laughed at quite a few of them. I did think that the trailers have shown every single good joke. There's like all the best jokes were in the trailers. There wasn't a whole lot left for the movie, but there's, you got a lot that you can enjoy here. It's definitely a movie catered to Pokemon fans, of which I am not. I'm not associated with the franchise at all. I've had almost no interaction with the Pokemon franchise. I bet you if I had watched Pokemon from like when I was 6 years old or like before, if I'd gotten into it then, I would have been all over the franchise because it kind of seems like something that would be right up my alley, but I just never got into it. So I really have no association with it. I don't really have any association with the characters. There's like not any returning characters from the show. Ash isn't strolling in here with all them. Ash, Misty, and Brock. I know some names. They're not strolling in here in this movie. This is a new story about a new character named Tim, and I believe it's based off a video game if I'm not mistaken. Again, I never played the game, so I have no association with it. All I know is that the movie's catered towards Pokemon fans. You got a lot of callbacks, a lot of references to Pokemon movies. I was able to pick up on some of them because although I haven't had that much exposure, my brothers are into Pokemon, so like I have crossed paths with it before, but not anywhere near enough to get me into the franchise. But there's a lot going on here that I'm sure Pokemon fans were just eating up. I can tell you that it's kind of reminiscent of like Pokemon the movie. Is that what it's called? I don't know. It's kind of reminiscent of one of the old Pokemon movies, so I know that. But you can enjoy this movie without being a Pokemon fan. I was able to enjoy the movie without being a Pokemon fan. I'm just saying, again, I'm gonna give that disclaimer here. It's not a masterpiece of cinema. It's a kid's movie. Like I said, it's a kid's movie, so don't expect it to be anything that it's not. Let's just go through it here. Human story. It's, that's kind of the point of the movie. It's a detective movie, so you're trying to figure out what's going on. It's got a lot of twists in it, some of which are really obvious, some of which aren't as obvious. I didn't think that it ever blew me away. It never blew my mind where I was like, whoa. Every time they were like, this character is doing this, or they're not doing this for this reason, and then it turns out that they were doing that, or that they weren't doing that for this reason. It's like, oh yeah. It was never blowing my mind, or a lot of the times they'd say it and I'd be like, well, clearly not, because that's the point of the movie, is to find out this thing. So now that I'm told that this thing is inaccurate, and I know for a fact that that's the point of the movie, it's like, we're not going to be left halfway through on this, right? I'm trying to be really vague here. I don't want to spoil anything. This movie goes for some strange emotional beats that like really surprise me for a kid's movie. There are characters that might appear to die at one point, or there are reveals that'll happen that'll impact certain people and characters, in certain ways, and you'll have time to reflect on that. The movie will slow down so you can feel the emotion of that. Coming off of Avengers Endgame, it's like no movie is going to make me feel emotions like that movie did. So even if I was a Pokemon fan, I would highly doubt that this movie would have emotionally resonated with me, which it didn't. I can say that I laughed at a lot of the jokes in here and I enjoyed it, but I'm not going to be like, oh, remember that heartbreaking scene when X, Y, and Z happened? It just isn't going to happen for this movie, or probably for many movies to come. There's some, for the characters, I don't want to be too mean here, but because I really don't think it's any of the actors' fault. I think all of the actors do a good job, specifically Justice Smith. He's able to pull off a very, I want to say, complex performance. Coming off of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom with him, that's my only other experience with this guy. He kind of annoyed the hell out of me there. So here in this movie, I think he does a great job. He has a lot of emotion, a lot of heart, and he does pull his weight in this movie. But Ryan Reynolds, not only was Ryan Reynolds the selling point for me to get into the theater, but he's the selling point on the movie. He carries the movie hardcore, and he does a great job. Ryan Reynolds is awesome as this kind of character. I've said in the past that I'm a little bit annoyed with Deadpool and Deadpool 2. I think they take him too far in that movie, but this movie draws him back to like, this is perfect. He is not too mean, but he's still kind of mean. He's snarky, he's funny, he cracks quips all the time. time, it's great. Sometimes his quips are inappropriately placed. They're a bit much at times, but you know, you can live with that. It's like Deadpool 1, just without the swear words. It's pretty good. I like that. I liked seeing him as Pikachu. He does a great job. There's a girl here in this movie. Her name's Lucy, the character, who I think the actress does a fairly good job. The actress, she does as good as she possibly can, but the problem is her writing is just atrocious at times. Not always, but there are times in this, and it's really a problem with the movie in general, where the writing is just like, holy cow, we are in a kid's movie, where she strolls onto the scene, and literally her first appearance, she walks in and she's like, hey, I'm a reporter with a nose for a story. She like comes in here and like gives this full backstory about her, and it's like, you're just sitting there going, wow, I feel like I'm in a high school play right now. And you can get away with this in a high school play because there's a certain standard that is set for a high school play, and then there's a whole nother standard that's set for, like, you know, a motion picture that's in theaters, and you're like, this dialogue, where did this come from? Who wrote that? Who walks into a room and goes, excuse me, my name is Lucy Stevens, and I'm just looking at the cast list, and I am a reporter for IGN. I don't know, I'm throwing IGN on the bus here. Like, I'm a reporter for IGN, and I've got a nose for a story, and I can smell one here, and this is what, like, what are you doing, movies? Just stop. We can figure it out. That's really the problem, is because it's a kid's movie and I'm not a 7-year-old, I feel like it's holding my hand way more than I need my hand held. I don't need someone to go, wow, we're at the scene of this incident. It's like, yeah, I recognize where we are. We've flashed back to it 13 times now, so you don't need to tell me we're here. I'm smart. I can figure it out. Maybe a little kid, like really little, does need his hand held, but that little kid, he's probably not going to remember anything that's happening anyway, so you can tell him we're here, and the kid 5 minutes later will be like, yeah, wait, where were they? I just feel like sometimes the movie treats me like I'm an idiot. It's a bit annoying. I will say cinematography though, amazing. Whoever directed this movie, fantastic job. I'll pull him up just to say he did a great job with it. All right, here we go. Directed by Rob Letterman. The cinematography is fantastic. I don't know if it's actually the cinematography or the directing specifically that stood out, but this movie was directed by Rob Letterman with cinematography by John, oh God, how do I say that name? I'm just gonna go Matheson's. John Matheson. One of the two of them did a great job. I think it was both of them. The directing in this movie was actually pretty impressive, I thought. I thought all of it looked great, and I thought that the cinematography, you know, I thought it was fantastic. The music as well, oh, of course, I just looked it up. The music, Henry Jackman did the music. I was gonna say, when I was watching the movie, that was the standout. I was going, this soundtrack is good. It is. I enjoy it a lot. It's kind of got like this techno-y, like futuristic feel, and then you've got some really cool classic themes in here, and you're like, yeah, this sounds really good. It's Henry Jackman, composer of Kong Skull Island. He's done some other movies, so great, I love it. Overall, I'd say Detective Pikachu wasn't amazing. It wasn't like like I said, it wasn't the greatest movie I've ever seen. It made me laugh, which is what it set out to do. It is a kid's movie and it will entertain kids, so it definitely succeeds at what it's trying to do. But I'm not gonna be like, yeah, this was a 10 out of 10 right here. It blew me away, because it didn't at all. I'll give Detective Pikachu a 6 out of 10, which I think is fair. It, like I said, it just holds your hand a bit too much, but it is funny. So it's got like a 6.5 to 7 out of 10. I don't know. I actually feel kind of guilty about giving it such a low score, so I'm going to move it up to a 7, but there you go. It's a 7 out of 10. It's a fun time. Check it out. Final little thoughts here. I did see a Godzilla King of the Monsters trailer play before Detective Pikachu. It is the third trailer for Godzilla King of the Monsters, although it's got like some random new additions in it that just blew me away. I was like, holy cow. I'm the guy sitting there in the theater quoting every line of the trailer before it happens. I'm like turning to my friends like, how many of these things are there? 17 and counting, and then they say it on the movie, and I'm like, yeah, I've seen this trailer too many times. And then it's followed with all this sudden like new shots of Madison Russell and Sarazawa, and I'm like, wait a minute, what? Followed with a new shot of Rodan in the sky, and it just, I really wasn't expecting that. So it was a slightly re-edited version of trailer 3 for Godzilla King of the Monsters, and that was pretty sweet to see. All right, that'll do it for this one, boys and girls. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. D-Man out.